The UFC returned to the apex this weekend with the battle of top-ranked women's flyweights, where number 4 ranked Erin Blanchfield takes on number 5 ranked Maycee Barber. It's been a very fast rise for Erin Blanchfield since debuting in the UFC in 2021. She started with 6 victories to start her UFC career, with big wins over the likes of Talia Santos, Molly McCann and Jessica Andrade. She did stumble early last year, losing a decision victory to Manon Fiorot in her first UFC main event, but rebounded nicely with a 5-round decision victory over former strawweight champion Rose Namajunas last November. Maycee Barber has always been labelled as kind of a super prospect coming off the Contender Series and into the UFC in 2018. There was a lot of talk given her youth that she could potentially break John Jones's record as the youngest champion in UFC history. She did have some stumbles early, losing to the likes of Alexa Grasso and Roxanne Modafferi, but really does seem to have ironed out a lot of those early issues, rattling off 6 victories now over the likes of Miranda Maverick, Amanda Ribas and Caitlin Chukagian. This fight is your typical striker versus grappler matchup, with Erin Blanchfield looking to get this fight to the ground as much as she can throughout the course of 25 minutes. We've seen her dominance on the ground, which finishes over the likes of Molly McCann and Jessica Andrade earlier on in her career, and particularly that last fight where she was down on the scorecards against Rose Namajunas and she really had to rally using some of her grappling and her takedown ability in order to win those later rounds and score a decision win. Maycee will be looking to keep this fight on the feet and score with big damage and strikes, using her volume striking in order to win this fight by producing more damage in the striking areas. Both girls would consider themselves pressure fighters, and this fight is really going to be won or lost depending on who can put more pressure on the other fighter and really dictate the terms of the fight. Can Maycee keep it in the standing areas, or can Erin use her grappling to get Maycee to the ground and really land some ground and pound and some potential submission threats? It does really feel like a toss-up, this one, and it really feels like you could go either way. But I'm going to lean Maycee Barber in this fight. I feel like her momentum and this winning streak that she's on, and some of her issues that she's ironed out from earlier on in her career, and that relative experience relative to Erin Blanchfield will be enough to see her through, probably by points, in a unanimous decision victory over Erin Blanchfield in this weekend's main event. A win for either girl could potentially see them get a title shot next, but that is affected by a lot of other factors, most notably who do the UFC want to see Valentina Shevchenko face next. If it is Weili Zhang moving up a division for a potential super fight, then that'll probably put the winner of this fight in a final eliminator or number 1 contenders bout with Natalia Silva, who's coming off a big win over Alexa Grasso recently. If Shevchenko decides to potentially move up to bantamweight, then we could see a vacant title between the winner of this fight and the winner of Silva. Or if Shevchenko decides to stay and defend her title against another flyweight, then it really does depend on the nature of victory for either Blanchfield or Barber in order to see themselves over the line and get the title shot over Natalia Silva, who's obviously coming off a dominant victory herself.